Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today, we diving into a story that sounds like it is ripped straight from a Hollywood horror movie. But for the residents of one small town, it was a terrifying reality. We're heading to the Australian outback to a place called Hughenden, a quiet community that found itself in the jaws of a prehistoric predator. Imagine your favorite local spot, a beautiful recreational lake where you go to swim, fish, and cool off from the blistering heat. For the people of Hughenden, that place was the local dam. It was the heart of their community, a place for family gatherings, weekend fun, and a vital source of relief. But one day, that all changed. The peace was shattered by a chilling discovery. A monster had taken up residence. This wasn't just any crocodile. Reports started trickling in about a colossal saltwater crocodile, an apex predator far from its usual coastal habitat. How did it even get there? That's one of the most baffling parts of this story. Saltwater crocodiles, or salties as the locals call them, are aggressive, territorial, and incredibly dangerous. Finding one in a landlocked recreational lake hundreds of kilometers from the coast was unheard of. It was like finding a great white shark in your swimming pool. Panic began to spread through Hughenden. The lake, once a symbol of joy, was now a source of pure dread. No-go signs went up, the shorelines became eerily quiet, and a collective sense of fear gripped the town. People who had lived there their whole lives, who had swum in that lake since they were children, were now afraid to even walk near the water's edge. The stories started getting wilder. Some said the croc was over 5 meters long, a true giant. Fishermen reported their lines being snapped by something with unimaginable strength. There were tales of pets going missing near the water. The crocodile wasn't just living in the lake. It was ruling it. It became a local legend, a boogeyman that was all too real. Every shadow on the water, every ripple, sent shivers down the spine. Was it him? The local authorities were in a tough spot. How do you deal with a problem like this? You can't just ignore a massive carnivorous reptile in a public lake. The safety of the townspeople was the #1 priority. So began one of the most incredible crocodile hunts in recent memory. Rangers and wildlife experts from all over the country were called in. They were dealing with a cunning and highly intelligent animal in its element. The first attempts were frustrating. Traps were set, baited with huge chunks of meat, but the clever croc seemed to outsmart them every time. It would steal the bait without triggering the trap or simply ignore it altogether. The vastness of the lake gave it a huge advantage. It could hide in the murky depths, unseen, only to surface when and where it least expected. The hunt became a tense cat-and-mouse game, with the stakes getting higher each day. The media caught wind of the story, and soon, Hughenden was in the national spotlight. News crews descended on the small town, broadcasting the dramatic hunt to the entire country. The story of the Hughenden croc captured the public's imagination. It was a classic man versus beast tale playing out in real time. For the residents, however, it was no movie. They just wanted their town and their sense of security back. Days turned into weeks, and the frustration grew. The experts tried everything. They used spotlights at night, hoping to catch the telltale red glow of its eyes. They used sonar equipment to try and map the lakebed and find its hiding spots. But the crocodile remained elusive, a ghost that haunted the waters. The pressure was immense. Not only was the town living in fear, but the cost of the operation was mounting. Then a breakthrough. After weeks of relentless effort, the team finally had a plan that they thought might work. They decided to use a different kind of trap, a more sophisticated harpoon system designed to safely restrain the animal without causing it serious harm. The goal was never to kill the crocodile, it was to capture and relocate it. Despite its terrifying presence, it was still a protected species and a magnificent creature. The final showdown was a nerve-wracking affair that lasted through the night. The team patrolled the dark waters, their spotlights cutting through the blackness. The air was thick with tension. Every sound, every movement in the water could be it. And then they saw it. 2 glowing red eyes reflecting back at them from the far side of the lake. The monster had shown itself. What followed was a high-stakes operation. The boat moved in slowly, silently. They had to get close enough to use the harpoon, but not so close as to spook the massive animal into diving back into the abyss. It was a delicate dance with a deadly partner. With expert precision, the shot was taken. It was a success. The harpoon found its mark and the battle began. The crocodile, enraged and powerful, thrashed in the water, fighting with all its might. It was a true test of strength and endurance for the capture team. They had to carefully play the line, tiring the giant beast out without letting it snap the cable or capsize the boat. It took hours of grueling work, but slowly and surely, they managed to guide the exhausted animal towards the shore. When they finally got it onto land, the sheer scale of the creature was breathtaking. It was even bigger than the stories had claimed. This was a primeval giant, a relic from a bygone era. The entire town seemed to breathe a collective sigh of relief. The reign of terror was finally over. The monster had been captured. The crocodile was carefully secured and transported to a crocodile farm, a safe new home where it could live out its days without posing a threat to any more communities. With the predator gone, the town of Hughenden could finally reclaim its lake. The no-go signs came down and slowly people started to return to the water's edge. The story of the Hughenden crocodile is more than just an animal encounter. It's a story about community, resilience, and the wild, untamable spirit of nature. It's a reminder that even in our modern world, we sometimes share our space with incredible creatures that demand our respect. The people of Hughenden will never forget the summer their lake was ruled by a king, a monstrous, carnivorous crocodile that turned their peaceful town into the setting of a real-life thriller. What an incredible story, right? It just goes to show you that you never know what's lurking just beneath the surface. Thanks so much for watching today. If you enjoyed this wild tale, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more amazing stories from around the world. See you in the next one.